For our last story tonight, let's talk about the ocean. It covers 70% of the Earth's surface, yet more than 80% of it remains unmapped and unexplored. Simply put, we know very little about the ocean. But a new discovery could upend what we do know. According to a recent study, lumpy metallic rocks in the deepest reaches of the ocean could be making oxygen. These are rocks in the darkest pits of the ocean. Sunlight does not reach these depths, but scientists say that this is where some rocks are producing oxygen, or what's being called dark oxygen. How is this possible, and what does this mean for us? Here is a report.
Oxygen is vital for life. About half the oxygen we breathe comes from the ocean. It is made by marine plants as they photosynthesize. As you already know, this process requires sunlight. But what if sunlight was not required to produce oxygen? This may sound bizarre, but it could be true, because scientists have discovered dark oxygen. According to a recent study, lumpy metallic rocks on the seafloor in the deepest, darkest reaches of the ocean could be making oxygen in the absence of sunlight. This claim upends everything we believe about the origins of life. According to the long-established view, life was made possible when organisms started producing oxygen via photosynthesis about 2.7 billion years ago. If this is not the cold, hard truth, if rocks can produce the so-called dark oxygen without sunlight, it calls into question the very origins of life. So how exactly is this happening? Scientists say that in the depths of the deep sea, where no sunlight can penetrate, oxygen appears to be produced by nodules. They are talking about naturally occurring potato-sized metallic nodules. These objects produce enough electrical currents to split seawater, basically H2O, into hydrogen and oxygen. You may remember that this process is called electrolysis. This is happening in the lightless abyss of the ocean and producing dark oxygen. And this is good news for mining companies. In recent years, they have appeared borderline obsessed with the deep sea. Several deep-sea mining companies have been eager to extract precious metals from the ocean bed. And these nodules are treasure for them because they can act like batteries. But this comes with many risks. Unacceptable ecological risks that could disrupt underwater life and have repercussions for the planet at large. But this isn't the only problem here. The new discovery has stirred a new debate. Some members of the scientific community have expressed their reservations about the finding. They say that the dark oxygen discovery was partly funded by a Canadian deep-sea mining company, which could bring the finding and its assumptions into question. That said, if dark oxygen exists and if lumpy rocks are producing it under the sea, then this discovery is one for the history books.
Do you think that Ukraine is at its weakest position?
This war is not about Ukraine.
Do you believe that your president was insulted? Yes or no question. Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.
Diplomacy will work?
Yes,
Do you think
will.
Russia will give up the territory if there is no ceasefire? Do you propose to keep fighting?
We are ready to resist.
Do you think there will be peace?
Many countries gave us 3 days.
President Trump said you don't have any cards.
We do not have another choice.
How do you keep fighting?
You ask me once again the same question.
Because you've not answered my question.
We have enough capacities to keep fighting.
Firstpost brings you the Ideas Pod at the Raisina Dialogue 2025, the largest gathering of global policymakers, thought leaders, and innovators, now on the fastest-growing international news platform. Big ideas, big debates, big impact. Only at the Ideas Pod.
Raisina Hill.
Firstpost gives you front-row access to the conversations that matter most. The Ideas Pod. Raisina Dialogue 2025 on Firstpost. From March 17th to March 19th.